All right, tonight's West Coast Swing. By a raise of hands, how many of you never danced West Coast Swing before? Ever? 1, 2, okay. How many of you had maybe just a little bit of West Coast, but don't feel yourself as an expert? Okay, we've got a few more people there. How many of you actually are an expert? Good, I think we'll go on just fine. Just got one. There you go, there you go. Okay, so let's start off with the basic idea of West Coast for those of you that don't know, and then we'll just kind of move in from there, okay? West Coast Swing is essentially a slot dance, which means it moves back and forth in one little corridor on the dance floor between you and your partner. And the leaders are in charge of this said slot, and their job is to direct you through that like at an intersection on a road. So if you are walking towards him in the slot, his job is to either push you back to that direction, which is called a push, to move out of your way and allow you to pass due to the other side, which is called a pass. There you go. Or he can change his mind halfway through and kind of whip you back around to your original side, which is ironically called a whip, right? So you have three components: push, pass, and whip. All right, so let's first talk to the leaders. The followers. Followers, you're going to start with your right foot most of the time. We're going to go ahead and say all of the time for now, but later on you'll realize in West Coast Swing, you can start with the left foot and it's not really that big of a deal. But right now, let's start with the right foot. There's three elements that we're going to use: invitation, redirect, and anchor. So the invitation starts with the right foot, and we're basically invited to dance into a slot, so we're going to follow that invitation by taking 2 steps. 1, 2. Ta-da! First element's down. Once we're there, now we're right at the director, and he's supposed to tell us where he wants us to go. At this particular point, he's still inside the slot. So if he's still inside the slot, it's probably going to be a push. Okay? So when we get to the push action, you're going to have, it's like going up against a brick wall. How many of you know one of the guys on the other side that you can probably relate to a brick wall at any point in your life? No, I'm kidding. What? Did you see that on video? Yes. What? Okay. So once we're invited in, 1, 2, we have to find a point of resistance. So now we can push off and go back in our original direction. This is called the redirect. So with your right foot, you're going to step forward and kind of give yourself a little bit of pressure here. That's the point that we're looking for. So that's the re. Now the direct is going to move you into a different direction. So you were going forward, now you're going backwards. So that happens on 3 and 4, on the redirect. So let's start with the right foot. We have 2 walking steps. Invitation, redirect. Is everybody with me? Yes, it's a lively crowd. Yes. Okay, there you go. Thank you. All right, for a minute I thought Denise was the only one here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to anchor step to finish the element. That's the last element. And that's a triple step either in place or slightly moving backwards so that you reach a full length of the arm and get a nice tethered feel from you and your partner so he can lead you into the next pattern. All right, so those 3 elements: invitation, redirect, anchor step. Say it again faster this time.
Invitation, redirect.
Hey, there you go, good. Now each one of those elements go over 2 beats of music. So when I count up to music, I have invitation, redirect, anchor, step. Right? Watch again. Invitation, redirect, anchor, step. So the redirect and the anchor step are triple step patterns. So they're counted like 1 and 2. So let's try this together. 5, 6, 7, go. Invitation, redirect, and anchor step. Again, invitation, redirect, anchor, stop. Good. Guys, give the ladies a hand. Yay! So now, guys, we have to do something. We have to lead this thing, and we're going to lead it in one of 2 ways, either actively or passively. Actively, you have to invite them into the slot actively to get them to do any pattern, right? Or just stand there and they'll make up something on their own. They will do that. Okay, so right now what we want to do is we want to invite them into the slot. So 1, 2. I don't have to pull with my hands to make this happen. I don't have to use the Jedi mind control, although it does help. Okay? So what I want to do is if I have a connection with my partner, 2 hands, 1 hand, all I have to do is walk backwards with that connection and she should follow you into the slot. Not a problem. Here's where the problem comes in. It's on that redirect. Now we have to create a change of direction for her. So we have to create the resistance point you heard me talk about, and then we have to let them know which direction we want them to go. Where do we want them to go? Back. Okay, so let's try that. So the first part, we're going to walk 2 steps backwards. 1, 2. Now at this point, they're going to take 1 more step. So on that 1 more step, we're also going to take another step, but it's a smaller step. And allow your hands to compress just a little bit. Allow your arms, I'm sorry, not your hands compress. That would be like this, right? Allow your arms to compress. How many of you ever lifted weights before? Bench press. Raise your hand if you've bench pressed before. You don't have to tell me how much, right? Some of you are like, oh yeah, I went to the gym once, right? So whenever you have the weights up above you, do you pull them down into your chest when it's time to bring them into the compressed part? You guys are with me? Do you pull the weights into the chest whenever you bench press? No, what do? You create resistance, right? So you go through compression through resistance and then push back out. That's what I want you to do here. So you're going to go 1, 2, let the ladies give you the resistance that they need, and then you're going to take and push back out towards the end of the slot. Okay, let's try that. 5, 6, 7, go. But 1, 2, redirect. Good. Once you effectively get their movement in that direction, now we have to allow them to anchor step. That's the end of the pattern. All you have to do to allow for that to work is just do a triple step in place. Don't move forward, don't move back, just stay in one spot and triple step. That's called anchor step. So actually you are the anchor, not the lady. She's floating backwards as a result of your anchor steps, okay? So let's try that. Here we go. 5, 6, back with the left foot. 1, 2, redirect, anchor step. Very good. If you do this, if you go 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6, then she's not going to get to the full stretch of her arm. She won't know that the pattern's done because she feels like you didn't anchor. You're still moving forward. Okay? So everybody take a partner. Let's just practice this real quick just to make sure we get that fundamental passing pattern. Why do we do passes? Because you can, right? It opens up the variety on the dance floor within the slot. It also helps you to change direction globally as one, not globally, but like as a couple. So she can turn within the slot. Even in pushes, she can do some rotations on her own. But this rotates you both around as a couple, so you're facing the opposite direction, and then you can keep, more control over your area of the slot, of the dance floor. So in order for the ladies to pass, the pass is almost always a passive lead. So leaders, tell me what's the difference between an active lead and a passive lead? Exactly. You don't do anything special. A passive lead is just that. It's passive. You don't have to actively tell her to do something with your muscles. All you have to do is move out of her way, and then she'll go automatically to the other side, right? So a pass is essentially a passive lead. So all I have to do is then walk backwards to give her my invitation, and then I can just move out of her way, and automatically she should go to the other side. Will that happen every time? Absolutely not, right? Okay? The ladies have to understand that principle that if the path is open, to go ahead and take it. So let me work with the followers real quick. So ladies, what's going to happen here is once you get into your invitation, this just gets the ball rolling. So let's walk it out. 1, 2. Good. From here, if he's still in your way, what kind of pattern is it? A push. If he's out of the way, there's nothing to resist on. So going to the principle of finding our resistance point, you're not going to find one here. Why? Because it moved. Okay? So unless you put out a left hand and go, okay, you might be able to resist yourself. There's a joke in there somewhere, I know it is. Right? Yes. So what you want to do is you want to continue to the slot as long as you can. So if I have nothing, then I would actually go 1 and 2, I would keep walking because nothing changed my direction. There was no resistance point. Okay? So, what I want you to do, can I borrow you to demonstrate this? So we do have a connection here. What's this called?
Handhold.
Huh?
A handhold.
A handhold. Thank you very much. In the simplest terms, it's a handhold. Some people call this a tether. Some people call it a connection. Some people call it, that's what you lead with, right? So I don't have a physical means of giving her this movement, but I do have a connection, and I'm going to use it on the other side. It'll become her resistance point. So 1, 2, she goes all the way through, and then all of a sudden she finds some resistance. My arm's not going with her anymore. So she's forced to turn around and say, hey, what's up? I thought we were going over here. All right? So watch again. All I have to do is get her going. 1, 2, move out of her way. She's going to keep walking until she feels that resistance and say, oh, that's as far as I can go. It'll turn her around. Okay? Good? Thank you. All right. So guys, here's your footwork for this pattern. You have to be out of the slot by step 2. So you're going to step back on 1. You always want to go back on 1. On 2, I'm going to jump out to the side here like I'm stepping onto a rail of a railroad track. And then on 3 and 4, I'm just going to triple step in place. And on the 5 and 6, on the anchor step, I'm just going to reclaim my slot facing the opposite direction. Okay, let's try that again. So the 3 elements: invitation, 1, 2. You have to make sure the hallway is open by 2. You're going to step in place, 3 and 4, and then 5 and 6, just reclaim your slots. Okay? The vehicle's passed, now you got to go back over and, look in the other direction. All right? Any questions on that? Good. Ladies, let's talk about your footwork. Your footwork, you have the first 2 steps of the invitation, 1, 2. Now, as you're going through, you're actually going to be changing directions so that this is going to be a triple step. So we have 3, and on 4, you're going to turn. That's when you feel the end of that tether. You're at the end of your rope, and you're being kind of coerced to turn back around. All right, let me get in front of you now. Stay there, stay there, stay there, stay there. Okay, so I'm going to catch up to you. Can everybody see me okay? So you went 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you're just going to do your 5 and 6 and go ahead and anchor out on this side. Now when you anchor, you should give the guys a little pull on his fingers, not with your arms, but just as you step back, 3 and 5 and 6, you want to pull a little bit on the hands. So everybody hold your right hands out for a second. You call them total? Okay. So just a little pull. There you go. Just a little pull. Good. Just a little pull. There you go. There you go. Good, good. Very nice. Good. Yes. 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 Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's too much. Yeah. Yeah, I almost really coughed on that one. That was a big one. I was like, okay, no, that's good. All right. Just a little, yeah, not with the arm. There you go. Good. 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 Very nice, very nice. Okay, so now when we go back to our partners, when we get around to the other side, you're going to run through triple step, anchor on that last step, you're going to pull and give them that resistance. Now guys, if they give you the right resistance at the right time, I just want you to go, just like do that little fake cough, okay? Everybody take a partner. No pressure.